Hopefully they had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Planning and Zoning Board. It's good to see you guys back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to everyone in attendance and watching on the broadcast and on the internet. This is the Planning and Zoning Board meeting for the City of Riviera Beach. The commencement time is 6:36. The location here is the Riviera Beach Event Center. The date is Thursday, December 15, 2023. And the address here,
January 12th, I'm sorry.
what did I say?
December 15th.
Oh my God. Let's not go back. All right, January 15th,
12.
January 12th. Oh. January 12th, 2023. The address here, just for the record, is 190 East 13th Street, Riviera Beach, Florida, 33404. If you wish to speak on any item on this agenda, please complete the public comment card and provide it to the planning and zoning staff. Cards must be submitted prior to the board discussion of any item. Thank you. We'll start off by giving a moment of silence and pledge allegiance led by the Planning and Zoning Board. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can we have a roll call?
Anthony Brown. Renee Burgess. Evelyn Harris Clark.
Present.
James Gallen.
Here.
Margaret Shepard. Frank Fernandez. William Wiley.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Can we have acknowledgement of any board member absent notification?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we received notification from the chairman that he would not be here this evening. Also from Board Member Burgess, Ms. Shepard, and the first alternate, Mr. Barnes. They all provided notice of their absence.
Okay, thank you. Item number 4, additions. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Sermons?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to request that we,
If we could share a recess for 5 minutes, because I understand you may have an interest, I'm Glenn Torsivia, the attorney tonight, and I just heard that you may have an interest in some of these items, so could we talk about that offline for a minute?
Okay.
Take a 5-minute
Okay.
recess?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll start back with additions and deletions to the agenda. It brought to my attention that I used to be a member of the, I was a member of the CDC board, and I'm no longer a member of that. It's been about a year now. So just to not have a conflict of interest with what's going on with the agenda today, that just so everyone knows that I am no longer with the CDC board. So any other additions or deletions to the agenda?
Not from staff.
Number 5, disclosure by board members or adoption of the agenda.
This would be the perfect
That-
time to make your announcement,
that
but
would
you've
be
already
perfect.
taken care of that.
Got it.
Staff is not aware of any additional disclosures unless any other board members have any.
Any other? All right, number 6, approval minutes.
So moved.
Oh, go and have a vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
James Gallen,
Yes.
Anthony Brown, Evelyn Harris Clark,
Yes.
William Wiley,
Yes.
unanimous vote.
On to unfinished business. Do we have any?
None, Mr. Chair.
On to new business.
An ordinance of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a request from the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, and the Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation, CDC, requesting an abandonment of an existing 15-foot by 75-foot alleyway, approximately plus minus 1,125 square feet in area, that bisects the properties located at 130 West 11th Street and 120 West 11th Street in Riviera Beach, Florida. Attachment A, and providing for an effective date for other purposes.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start our workshop items. A, Riviera Beach 2040 Comprehensive Plan Update.
I'm sorry, no, item A is gonna be, Mr. Sermons is gonna speak on that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Clarence Sermons, Director of Development Service, and I will be making the presentation for item A under new business. If it is satisfactory to the board, I would make one presentation for items A, B, and C as they are associated with the same development project. Additionally, Mr. Chair, if I may take a point of personal privilege, I would like to introduce the new Assistant Director of Development Services for the City of Riviera Beach. Behind you all is Ms. Linda Mia Franco.
Welcome.
Welcome.
We are, yes. We are excited to have her join the team. For the past 6 months, staff has been working hard to fill in the gaps, and I definitely want to commend Ms. Davidson and the other development services staff. But we are in the process of filling these positions, so you're going to see a lot more projects come at you a lot quicker. But we are thankful for Ms. Franco for joining our team. So without further ado, I will get into our presentation for the Villa L'Anse project. The header has been read into the record already, and I will move past the next two as they will be coming forth shortly. The project location is indicated by the red figure on the screen before you in the southeast quadrant of the city. The aerial in front of you now highlights the project location off of 11th Street between Wright and Avenue E. The subject properties are located at 130 West 11th Street, 120 West 11th Street, and 1101 Avenue E. They are 3 contiguous properties that are proposed to be combined for this project. The parcel size is 0.51 acres, or roughly 22,156 square feet. Currently, the properties are vacant with no use. The zoning is downtown general, and the future land use is downtown mixed use. The applicant's request includes the following 3 items: abandonment of an existing 15-foot by 75-foot alleyway, or about 1,125 square feet in area, which bisects the properties located at 130 West 11th Street and 120 West 11th Street. The second application is a replat of 3 contiguous lots of record into 1 parcel of property totaling approximately .51 acres or 22,156 square feet of land area. The third component of this development package request is a site plan from the Riviera Beach CRA and Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation to construct 12 2- and 3-story affordable housing condominium-style townhomes with associated amenities. Before you is the proposed abandonment area circumscribed in red. Currently, it is an unimproved alleyway going between the lots. Before you now is the proposed plat. You can see here where the alleyway would end if abandoned, and then the combination of the individual lots into one here, and then an access easement to access the proposed townhomes. Before you now is the proposed site plan for the property, with the access easement going along the rear of the townhomes. There would be 2 6-unit residential townhome buildings, and in between them, a common area with landscaping and sidewalks. Before you now is the proposed landscape plan for the project and the elevations. The project proposes Dutch-style townhome architecture, and at the top you can see the rear elevations and the access garages for each unit. Again, there are 3-story and 2-story units, with the 3-story units having double garages and the 2-story units having single garages, and then the front elevations at the bottom. Before you now is a bird's eye rendering of the proposed project off of 11th Street at the south end of this block, and then a street level rendering of the rear of the proposed development. For the review of this project, city staff and outside agencies have reviewed this project extensively and have found that the project to be consistent with the city's comprehensive plan and land development code, and it is now ripe for consideration by this board. We have reviewed, again, the future land use plan, zoning, existing levels of service for utilities, compatibility with surrounding land uses, landscaping, lighting, parking, and traffic have all been verified by various city staff and outside agencies. As this project does fall within the CRA of the city, it must be heard by their board before it can move forward before City Council. On October 26th, the project was reviewed by the CRA board and was found to be consistent with the goals and objectives of the adopted Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Plan. For community feedback, staff has received no official correspondence in support or opposition to this project. And with that, I'll make the staff recommendations. We recommend that the Planning and Zoning Board recommend approval of the subject applications, Site Plan 22-5, Plat Application 22-2, and Abandonment 22-1, to construct 3 buildings, 3 2 stories in height, having a total of 12 residential units within the downtown general district, with the following site plan resolution conditions proposed. 1, construction must be initiated within 18 months of the effective date of the resolution in accordance with Section 31-60B of the City Code of Ordinances, or that the site plan would expire. 2, a 2-year landscaping performance bond for 110% of the value of the landscaping and irrigation shall be required before CO is issued. 3, the City Council authorizes staff to approve future amendments to the site plan administratively, so long as the site plan does not deviate greater than 5% from the originally proposed approved site plan. 4, the development must receive final certificate of occupancy from the city within 5 years of approval, or the development order would expire. 5, all future advertising must state that the development is located within the city of Riviera Beach. Next, once approved, this resolution shall supersede any previous site plan approvals and resolutions associated with this property. Adoption and approval of the proposed abandonment and replat shall become effective prior to the adoption and approval of the proposed site plan. Permits shall stipulate that the commencement of construction shall occur within 2 years of approval, otherwise the subject right-of-way shall revert back to the city. And the right-of-way abandonment privilege fee of $3,266.27 must be paid to the city within 30 days of approval of the abandonment ordinance. And then finally, this is related to the plat for this project. The HOA documents must be provided and reviewed by the city before this item can move forward before City Council for consideration. We have been working closely with the CRA throughout this process, and we do believe that they have brought forth a great product that will bring affordable housing to the city. The last item is the HOA documents for this project, just so we can match those items up with everything needed to be reflected on the plat once those are completed. Otherwise, we believe this project is ripe for your consideration, and we do recommend approval. And that concludes staff presentation. The applicant is here, and I will yield the podium to them so that they can make their own presentation.
Mr. Chair, we also have a comment card for item 8. So I don't know if you want to hear it now or after the applicant presents.
Would we like to wait until the applicant speaks and then have, yes. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dan Seamson. I'm a landscape architect with the firm of 2GHO. I have with me also one of the partners with 2GHO, Emily O'Matney, as well as Christine Morel, our architect of record, and Alec Dickerson, also with 2GHO, senior planner, and Miss Anita Jenkins with Riviera Beach CRA, is the director of neighborhood services. She's our client. Mr. Sermons has done a fantastic job with the presentation. Ours will mirror pretty much the entire presentation, but I'll run through it just because there's a few other items and some more graphics just to give you something pretty to look at. How do I work this here? Could we do the abandonment first, Walter? It'd be the first one in the list from top to bottom on your screen. Yep, that one would be perfect. And we'll just click through it? Okay. As Mr. Sermons mentioned, this development proposal has 3 components. The first component, which you'll need to take action on, has to do with the alley abandonment. That needs to be abandoned prior to the plat, and then, of course, the site plan. Project location south of Blue Heron Boulevard and west of Broadway along 11th Street between Wright and Avenue E. Close-up, similar picture to what Mr. Sermons had as well. You can see it's an underutilized, unimproved site. Some residential structures to the south, commercial structures to the east, residential to the west, and then community center to the north. Here's the alley location, as you can see, which bisects the 2 parcels. And we'll get into when the alley was determined back in 1913. Vacant property located along 11th Street between Avenue E and Wright Street, non-functioning alley, dead ends prior to 13th Street, so we'll never connect. Doesn't connect to anything and unimproved. There is the presence of some underground utilities, which will be relocated as part of the project. Again, provides a CRA logical alternative for development. Will provide a mechanism for pedestrians and vehicular traffic to traverse the site. By removing the alleyway, it's going to connect everything and allow it to work. Okay? Code required privilege fee has been paid. We understand there is a condition of approval, but that fee has actually already been paid. We have a record of that, and we provided that to staff, so that should be resolved. City's abandonment of the subject alley provides residential project replacing underutilized property, development on unimproved, non-maintained alley at no cost to the city of Riviera Beach. So that'll conclude the alley abandonment. We'll just go on to the plat.
May I have a question?
Go
Sure.
ahead. Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
Abandonment, I don't know if you have it in your presentation, or if you have to go back to Mr. Sermon's presentation. So the alleyway is coming straight down the middle, right?
Right now, it
And-
bisects north-south, so there's
Right,
three
it's coming
parcels.
right down the middle with the parcels on left and on the right.
Yes, ma'am.
And the diagram of the proposed
Mm-hmm.
was the proposed, and I don't know if you can go back to it.
We'll have it up here shortly, yes.
Should I hold my question till you get to that point?
Yeah, when we get to that point, you can,
Okay.
I think it'll all come together once you see the
Okay,
graphic.
good. All right, thank you.
The plat, please, Walter. Thank you. Ready to go? Villa Lawns is the name of the project. This is the second component of the project, which is the replat. It's required to combine all the lots into one unified project area. The owner requests approval of the replat, recorded Block 17 Riviera plat. It's a companion to the site plan application, as we mentioned, for 12 multifamily units, 11th Street. This is the 1913 plat, which was originally established, the alleyway land area, essentially, which bisect all the lots along Wright Street and Avenue E. The alley was never constructed, it was never built, never improved. There are some utilities on our portion of the site, but I don't know or believe that they run the entire length of the property. Since 1913, a lot of changes have happened, of course. 13th Street now interweaves along the northern portion of the project. And I'll show you that a little bit more when we get to the other aerial for the site plan. But the proposed project and the plat obviously combines the lots, but there is need for access into the rear of the building, so both of the buildings. So we had to establish an easement. It's not an alley, it's just a driveway. It's a one-way easement behind there that is private to this development so that they can access the back of their lots.
Okay, sure. Just to make sure I'm clear in my mind, that little section that's in the middle right there on the proposed, yeah, thank you.
That's the continuation of the alley as it goes up to 13th Street. Am I able to go back on this? There you go. So, oops. Right there. Perfect, thank you. And then so, in 1913, they laid out the lots along Wright Street and Avenue E, as you can see here. Our project is comprised of, really, these were combined at some point in time, and so were these, just not platted. And the alley went all the way up to here. And I don't know the name of this street right here, but that's not 13th. 13th is all the way up here now. So the development of the area conflicts with what this plan is showing now. So we're resolving that as part of this project.
Right,
So-
but in 1913, are you saying that the alley went lengthwise from Boulevard all the way to the end of Wright Street. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was designated as that space, but it was never improved, it was never built. It was just shown as platted lines on a piece of paper.
Right, so it's going that way. Can you go to the new plat? The new proposed plat?
There you go.
Okay, so that little section right there, that is the front of West 11th Street, and you're saying that now the alleyway is going that way. When I was looking at 1913, it was going widthwise, and now this is going lengthwise. That's what's confusing me.
They're the same.
I'm sorry. That's,
so-
I'm either looking at this wrong or something.
So, in 1913, the alley went all the way through here.
Okay, so it did go all the way through
Right.
there. Okay.
This project eliminates the alley cutting north-south and combines all the lots into one unified piece along 11th Street. So what
Okay,
you
got it.
saw on the old 1913 plan had a lot here, a lot here, and a lot here with an alley in the middle, and then
Okay.
3 lots here.
Okay.
Since 1913, the lots were combined, not
Okay.
platted, but they were combined on either side. So now there's
Okay.
3 lots. There's one here, there's the alley, and then one here. And as part of this plat and part of this project, we're combining all 3.
Okay, now that little section that is the little bit of alley, that's still going to be existing.
Yeah, it's going to be identified as an alley right now. There's a future plan for
Right.
that.
Right, we'll come back to this whole, okay, got it.
In the near future, hopefully.
Right, okay, I
Once this
got the
project-
visual now. Just one question. That line is going straight across in the middle, that's the back of the property?
Correct.
And they're not gonna have too much of a backyard back there, but they're gonna
Right.
have a little patio or whatever back there.
Most
How-
of their space that they utilize will actually be in the front of the building
Okay,
or in
right.
between the
How-
buildings.
Is there gonna be any entrance from that back that, no? none?
Just the garages.
So there are gonna be garages in the back,
Yes, ma'am.
and people will be able, from left to right, to access their garages in the back. So there's gonna be a street back there.
Yeah, it'll be, right, it'll be a driveway.
Okay, so there'll be a driveway back there. Now, let me ask, and if you use your pointer, there's gonna be a driveway back there, but there's also those 2 other lots that are right behind it too. I guess the CRA owns that too, but the driveway's gotta go through their land. You gotta make that driveway through their land so that people can enter their garage. Is that how that's going, or am I
That,
wrong?
that portion will all be part of this project, so they won't be going through anybody else's
So
land.
they're not gonna have to chop off piece of that land that's above that line right there to make the driveway, is what I'm asking?
No, ma'am, this will all be self-contained in this lot.
So the driveway will be the dotted line right there.
Right
That's
there?
That's the driveway.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
And it's on the current subject property. It's not,
It's on the.
Off-site.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right. It's just so hard to see from way down here, and everything is so tiny.
it is, in the site plan presentation, we've got a big site plan, and it makes more sense.
Okay, got it.
Just to, in conclusion, as I mentioned, the plat basically combines all the lots. It makes it one unified project area. We'll have the necessary easement for the access in the back, and creates a cohesive project. And the next portion will be the site plan. That's it. I think it was the one you had prior to that, that one. Nope. You can, yeah. That one. You got it. Rock and roll. All right. So this is the third and final component of the project, site plan for 12 multifamily units. We know where the project's located and what it looks like today. As Mr. Sermons mentioned, it's 0.51 acre vacant site when it's all combined, located on 11th Street between Wright and Avenue E. Subject properties acquired by the City of Riviera Beach CRA and the Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation for residential development. Site is underutilized, lacking any viable development over the past several years. Here's the illustrative site plan. 2 buildings, identical to each other. They're 3 and 2-story units. There's 6 units in each building. The buildings are essentially bookended on the east and west side by 2 3-story units with the 2-story units in between. The access drive, as you can see, is on the north side. It's a one-way drive that enters off of Wright Street and allows folks to access their garages for each unit. The 3-story units have a 2-car garage, and the 2-story units have a 1-car garage. The project also incorporates some improvements along 11th Street, not just the landscape improvements, but there's some parallel parking spaces that are improved along there. Those spaces shall also be utilized by residents and/or guests. The land use, as Mr. Sermons mentioned, is downtown mixed use. Zoning is downtown general. 12 units, 2 and 3-story. The one-way drive aisle in the back. There's 25% open space. Provides for 26 parking spaces total, including the garage and the spaces along the street. There's 24 required for the project, so we're just slightly over-parked for those guests. The architecture, beautiful architecture, styles characterized as Dutch Caribbean architecture, features lively color palette with several pastel tones. Pertinent architectural elements include the gable-fronted building facades, incorporation of balconettes into the front and rear facades, simple, clean trims tie together the aesthetics of the facades. Here's the bird's eye view of the front of the buildings along 11th Street. And here's the rear of the building. So that gives you a perspective from what's happening on the back side of the buildings where they enter their garages. The street view looking at the front of the buildings here. You see the 3-story units on the ends, and it mirrors that on the other side, and 2-story units in between. Looking the other way down the street in the front of the buildings there. You see the parking along the 11th Street. So as we go through the project, we've got to look at a few things in terms of the code. First and foremost, we look at the comprehensive plan, make sure the project meets all the goals and objectives, as Mr. Sermons mentioned. Project adds a residential development, further protecting the housing stock in the city, which is a component of your comp plan. Supports a less intensive use within the Avenue E corridor, provides a harmonious transition between the Broadway corridor and the adjacent residential neighborhoods. Lower floor area ratio with a maximum of 2.0 allowed. This project is actually a 0.91. After looking at the comp plan, we look at the land development regulations in your codes. Also the Riviera Beach CRA master plan. This is, as mentioned, in the CRA. Proposed project accomplishes several ideas from the 2008 Citizens Master Plan, as it has potential to attract new residents to the city, encourage future development investment by expanding northward of this. This will kind of spur that development heading north from this project to do something similar there. Aid in the revitalization of existing neighborhood, adds multifamily residential within the Avenue E corridor, improves the pedestrian mobility with the addition of 5-foot concrete sidewalk. Right now, I don't believe there's any sidewalks along Avenue E in that location. And also combines a sidewalk to give the residents of these units access to the rear of the building. sets the streetscape precedent for future development along 11th Street. So all those improvements along 11th Street with the parking on street and the additional landscape is hoping to spur future improvements along 11th Street. Overall community benefits, it's a viable infill development project that will accomplish the following: beautification of the existing environment, uses existing resources for infrastructure. So as part of the project, they're going to utilize what's there and connect into it. Lastly, infill development that meets the ideals of the city's comprehensive plan, CRA master plan, and the city's zoning codes. As Mr. Sermons mentioned, it has been before the CRA board. I've received great positive feedback. And also, as Mr. Sermons mentioned, we appreciate staff's recommendation for approval. And we appreciate your time, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Like I mentioned, we've got our architect as well as other staff member here to help.
I'd like to ask one question. I apologize if I missed it. When you had the picture, thank you, that's the exact picture I need. Far as the parking for the residents who's going to be in the back with the garage area, of course. But with the guests, how many parking spots per guest? I mean, how many parking spots per residence will be provided for the guests?
Two per resident.
So it will be enough space for that area, because I was trying to see where that was on the map to where that parking would be right there directly in front.
Right there in front, yes.
Okay.
As part of the downtown code for Riviera Beach and within the CRA, they're allowed to include the parking along the street to count towards required parking.
Right, because I was looking at this one, and this is more where the tree line was closer to the house, and I think the other picture was more to where the sidewalk was prior to the tree line.
Yeah, there's the trees are kind of shadowed out on this picture so that you can see the architecture.
Right.
But there's a green strip between the parking and the sidewalk, and that'll be
Got it.
tree lined as well.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just have aesthetic questions. With the parking right there and the sidewalk, were you utilizing that plat to encompass the parking in the front and the driveway? Or did you have to cut into 11th Street a little bit, and it's narrow now because you've made accommodation for on-street parking?
Actually, believe it or not, 11th Street is very wide. It's 80 feet wide. So we didn't have to cut into 11th Street. We actually had more than enough room in 11th Street to accomplish the parking without taking away from the project area. So we were able to fit the parking and the trees and the sidewalk.
Okay. It will be great that behind all of that, if the CRA, the city owns that, and we're going to have future development, that will really be great, specifically because you got the cars coming in and out behind the homes, and right now you got the vacant lot. I just want to make sure that there's some sort of security factor back there for the protection of the residents up until that other side is developed, and depending upon what that is, then there'll be a lot of security. But for right now, with that open space, and E Avenue is kind of right now a little gnarly street, and, you know, I don't know if people can just, who don't live there, can just walk down that path. You know how they take a shortcut?
Right.
Sometimes they may go through that vacant lot, or they may just say, hey, this is paved right here. Why don't I just walk right behind these townhomes?
It's possible.
So there's not really any security parameters for behind there to stop non-residents from just utilizing the back of their spot to get to the other side to Wright Street.
So it's the CRA's intent to have, first and foremost, have cameras there to aid in the security of that. But they also, like you said, they own that property. So they'll be monitoring that area closely. And there's, yeah, and it's going to be very well lit.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's a lot of lighting. So they're going to be following all the SEPTED requirements. as recommended by the consultants.
Okay, and this has nothing to do with the project here. Does anybody know that building that is next door, that warehouse, and who actually
To the
owns
east?
it? It's right here. Who actually owns it now? And I'm just saying, this just could be gossip, but I heard that another marine company bought that land over there, that warehouse, and they are going to put up more boats and other sort of boating repair shops over there. I don't know if that's true or not. I hope that's not the case, because it would just so ruin that property, their property on the other side, and everything that we're trying to do, just by who has that property over there, if it's not going to be housing. And I'm just hearing gossip. I don't know if that's true or not. I was just wondering if anybody heard anything.
I'm not aware of any plans for that site. While we were going through the process, we did look at the site, and it appeared to be vacant. There's a Google note on there for a restaurant, but I don't think that's what it really is, so I don't know what the future plans are.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we just heard a marine company bought it, and they wanted to put some more boats, and because obviously there's no more space on the water side, so they're looking to traverse back where us residents are. I was just wondering.
This is sort of, there's a transition area right here along Avenue E where it goes from a more intensive use to less intense use. So this type of development, a multifamily type development, high density, dare I say, but it's a good transition between the less intensive residential uses. So hopefully it'll be a harmonious transition there. And funny enough, or what we thought was funny, is the properties to the south of this on 11th Street are zoned industrial.
What side, what do you mean?
To the south. They're single-family residents right
You
now.
mean that way?
This way.
Oh, this way?
Yep. They're zoned industrial.
Yeah.
So it's residential, but nonetheless, it was just interesting, the way the zoning map was created, so. But we get off the subject, so sorry.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Yes, the staff has received an application for development for the block to the east of this project, and I can direct you to those proposed plans for it after this meeting.
Is that to the answer to my question I was just asking?
Correct, yes. The block to the east of this project, there is an active development application for it.
No, I just want to hear about it after the meeting, I guess.
Yeah, we all gonna want to hear about that.
Yes, thank you, you're right.
Any questions? You have a question?
Yes, I was saying this is a nice looking development, or will be. I just have a couple of questions. Are these going to be privately owned units?
Yes.
Do you know how they're going to be transferred, ownership?
It'll be,
The CRA will own them in the beginning.
yes, the CRA is going to develop the project and they'll sell each individual unit.
So is it going to be like condominium documents or?
They're currently in the process of creating those right now.
Okay. I have a couple of questions on the plat, which I discussed with staff before. I noticed on the plat there are some parcels Lot A is a parcel, and you have the 17-foot access easement. But there's no dedication for those,
For the easement?
for Lot A and for the easement, yes.
Okay.
That needs to be addressed. Also, I see an acceptance of reservations for the HOA, which there's nothing dedicated to them. One more thing, I believe there must be sewer, electric, and other things there.
Sorry, say again?
Sewer, electric, water,
Oh, so, yes. They'll all be private.
yes. But there must be easements for those too, right?
No, because they're all private.
Privately owned,
Privately owned, yes, sir. So the connection point will be outside the property boundary, and there won't be public connection on the inside of the property, so there's no easements required, is our understanding from the surveyor.
I'm sure I saw a sewer easement running through the back or something. Was there a sewer running through the back? The rear of the property?
Yes, that was all be private. There's a storm line that runs in the back, as well as, I think hold on.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I would like to clarify one thing, that these are not fee simple townhome lots. So it is one lot with a condominium association. The lines feeding each individual condominium unit, the applicant is describing would be private, because there would be 1 meter for the whole property, because it's a condominium more so than a
Be simple.
fee simple townhome project.
Correct.
So that is one point I just wanted to make sure was clear, that may not have come out on the staff presentation.
Noted.
I guess that's it. As long as they take care of the
The dedication.
HOA,
Yes.
it should be okay.
Yeah, as Mr. Sermons mentioned, as one of the conditions of approval is that they submit the condominium association documents, so any additions to the plat prior to recordation would have to be added to that.
May I ask a broader question? The broader question, I don't know if this is the CRA can answer this, or if Mr. Sermons can answer it. We have these condominiums, townhome condominiums, going up. Then across the street is that warehouse building, and it sounds like there is an applicant that wants to do something with that, and certainly want to hear about that. Then further up the street, across from where the warehouse is, there were small, tiny apartments there that were all torn down.
Okay.
And behind it, it was all torn down. And I just think what my concern is that the CRA has a broader plan to revitalize that Wright Street, 11th Street, E Avenue, and the subsequent streets around it. And again, I'm just hearing, and I don't know if it's true, that the warehouse, and right on 11th Street, right by these townhouses on the opposite side where those homes have been bulldozed, that again, another marine company purchased that, and the intent is to now to traverse over to 10th Street, traverse over to 11th Street, close to where these townhomes are being built, close to where the existing residents already live, and put up boat repair operations. it just seems that if that happens, it's defeating the purpose of what the CRA and what the residents want for this potential downtown area. Because eventually, we got a sign going up where our new city hall is going to be right on the main street right there. And all of that was supposed to be turned into a downtown area. And I just don't know what's happening with that corner or even those lots up the street, but I just hope that it's not going to defeat the purpose of what the CRA is trying to do and what the residents want for that area.
Right.
And I don't know that when the CRA takes a look at building the condominiums, when they got the empty lots and they're looking at proposed development for that, if they kind of hear rumbles of what's going to happen around, and they're taking in consideration of, you know, am I going to really find buyers for the townhouse or condominiums? Am I going to find buyers for the future development of those empty lands? Even the residents who live over there, I think they would have a concern about what happens to their property value if it doesn't coincide with the vision of what the CRA has planned.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
and I'm hearing rumbles. I don't know if it's true or not. We want the CRA to do what they are doing, not only in that area, but other areas. And we just have people who own those lots, and their intentions don't mesh with the city, and it doesn't mesh with the residents, and it doesn't mesh with the CRA.
So
And that's just a broad comment or statement, because, you know, the goal is to infill. We got these beautiful houses that the CRA did almost 8 years ago on Old 13th Street. And it just really changed the dynamic of that area to put those lovely houses there and to start to change the community. But we know that there wasn't going to be any commercial development over there. It was the CRA doing the housing infill.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
can we take that on our planning and zoning board comments and move on with the applicant?
So public comments?
thank you for your comments.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, we have Ms. Mary Bram, who would like to speak on item 8. I do not apologize for spraying this here. This spring, okay? She takes care of herself, and hope that everybody is Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Everyone hear me? I have, in this, first of all, I would like to pronounce, can you hear me?
Pull it back down.
Put it down. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Can you hear me? Happy New Year to everyone.
New Year.
Okay, first of all, I would like for somebody to pronounce this new development now. Villa Oz, Villa Oz. Okay, I see back in 2021, the owner, Ms. Mahoney here, she sold it off to the CRA, these two properties here, so it's designated all in your back up there. My question. Okay, talking to Max, she said talking about Ms. Ram, okay. My question is, because I do have some questions, so, and I really would like for them to be attainable to answering them. Has a price been set for these affordable housing? That's one thing. Are they really going to be affordable so that people can
the ones that can move out and desire to move back in, because they would be controlled under the CRA. I think that has already been established. That is one thing. The underground utilities, I would like for someone to show me on this plot here, where are the underground utilities located at up in that area there? And has it been designated, where would they be put when that development comes in there? That's critical. That, to me, that's critical. Okay. Another thing that I picked up on, see, bonds are used for various things. And this is a 2-year bonding for the landscape. Now, that's what I heard there also. Who's going to pay for that? Who would be responsible for that? Will the contractors, or will this be on the CRA? So those are some things there. And I like the idea where you said by the streetscape that you will lead future development. I always say we do not build for what we see right now. We build out for the future. So that was a good yesterday. Because on this corridor here that's going to intercede here, we do want that corridor there built up. So, and the construction, will we be on target? We must not. We must stop planning to do these things here and not be on target. What Mike was just messing up. So we must proceed within that. I think it was 18 months. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard, it was 18 months. Will we be on target to do that? Because we as a city, we say that we're going to do these things here, and they take a lapse. So we as residents, we want to see these things on target. This is 2023, and it is a very uneven number 3. Some other elements that I would like to have addressed is the, like the back end. They already said it would be 26 parking. No, it is not my desire to see all along Broadway here. It's all boats. We are more than this. We have the most joy now here in our city over on Broadway there. And we must stop this type of building here. We have to do this in order to build up this city here to where we say, everybody say that it is this destination. How can we be a destination when boats and stuff, warehouses and stuff going to continuously to infuse us? So I want this board here to address the bonding. I want this board here to address the time frame. Will we be on target here for 18 months? And what we consider to be as affordable. What we consider to be as affordable. Because I would like to have them. Those that can come back into the city to live. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Summers, do we have any answers to the questions that Mrs. Brown had, or our developer? Would you have any questions? Because I see you copied down some notes. So would you have any answers to the questions?
For the staff side, I know where the utilities are. Was one of the questions that is on, that was reviewed by our utility district staff on where there would be, and he has satisfied, they have satisfied his comments in regards to where the utilities will be and making sure that they're protected from any development. So with his approval, we do believe everything is intact with utilities. The price of the homes, I would have to defer to the applicant on that question.
Okay, that was the next question.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Anita
ma'am.
Jenkins, Director of Neighborhood Services for the CRA, and I also represent the CDC as the Executive Director. If you've been following this project in the city, and for those who are listening, you know that it's intended to be an affordable / workforce project. And that means that there will be a mix of incomes. We wanted to make sure that this is stable housing, number one, that we have residents. We don't want to create a project where investors will buy the units and then use them for rental, short-term rentals or long-term rentals. The requirement, and there will be a deed restriction, is that these be occupied as homesteads, as permanent residents. The affordability is a question that you have to determine what is affordable, what is workforce. And our city is actually going through a discussion being led by Development Services Department, defining what we mean in the city by affordable, which generally is 80% and below. Moderate is 80 to 100, maybe 120. And then closer to market is our higher incomes. So to simplify it a little bit, we want to make sure that there are some units within these 12 units, and this is a relatively small project, where people who perhaps have incomes closer to 70, 80,000, depending on how many people are in the household, could afford some of the units. The 3-story units are being proposed as market rate units. They're 3 stories, 2-car garage, and we didn't talk about the square footage, but all of the units are relatively nice size. We don't have prices right now. We're too far out to get firm estimates. I don't have to tell anybody in the room, but construction costs have been through the roof. Prices of homes have been through the roof. Interest rates have just almost gone off the chart. Some comfort we have is that we're starting to see things to slow down, costs coming down a little bit, prices starting to come down a little bit, and by the time we're ready, we get closer to bidding out this project, we're hoping that things will have come down quite a bit. The CRA, when we initially started this project, provided close to $1 million to help assist with development. We'll be seeking other dollars to bring into this project that will help to create some additional affordability. Sorry, I can't give a better answer than that, but our whole goal is to make something that our residents can be proud of, something that they can participate in, and something that they will be able to afford. It is meant as a workforce affordable project. And hopefully that answers Ms. Bram's question.
Great job, Mrs. Jenkins.
What about the bond?
The bond will be considered part of the development cost. And as developers, we'll incur that and of course, it will have to be paid before, as the condition says, before a CO is issued. So
And will that be
that will be included in the financing stack for the project.
Ms. Jenkins, a short question. You mentioned homestead. It'll be homestead, but is there the propensity that to get the homestead, you have to be in a house to get the homestead credit? So does that eliminate the propensity of someone buying a unit and knowing it's right across the street from the Margaritaville cruise ship, and they start to rent that unit out at some point in time as an Airbnb?
It's a deed restricted property. We will have condominium, or call it homeowner association with condominium documents, and it will be in violation of that. And people will be subject to whatever the legal consequences of that are.
Oh, good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions by the board? Correspondence, planning and zoning board comments, so I guess those were the comments.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
can we take a vote on the items?
Yes, we'd like to go to a vote, thank you.
Okay, and will we be doing it individually or together?
Individual.
Okay. Item 8A.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Gallant,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Evelyn Harris Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Item 8B.
So move.
Second.
With corrections.
Okay.
Mr. Sermons, I don't know that the other two ordinances are read.
Yeah, I don't think they've been read in the record.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and do so now, and then we'll have the vote. Thank you, sir. That's okay. Item 8B, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a replat from the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, and the Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation, CDC, to replat three contiguous lots of record into a single parcel of property totaling approximately plus minus 0.51 acres, plus minus 22,156 square feet of land area regarding properties located at 130 West 11th Street, 120 West 11th Street, and 1101 Avenue E, identified by parcel control numbers 56, 43, 42, 330, 601, 70170, 56, 43, 42, 330601, 70142, and 56, 43, 42, 33060, 170141, and providing for an effective date and for other purposes.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Gallant,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Item 8C, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a site plan request from the Riviera Beach Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, and the Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation, CDC, to construct 12 2- and 3-story affordable housing townhomes within 2 buildings with associated amenities on approximately 0.51 acres of land, plus minus 22,156 square feet, located at 130 West 11th Street, 120 West 11th Street, and 1101 Avenue E, providing for conditions of approval, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes.
Chair, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It was mentioned about affordable housing and workforce, and that's, workforce is not listed in there.
Mr.
So
Sermon, would you like
can
to
we
address
add that? That workforce be,
To have
Added into-
workforce incorporated
Workforce.
into the header for the item.
yes, where they have affordable housing, townhomes, can we add, and workforce?
Like 3-story affordable, right?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
the
sir.
city is, as Ms. Jenkins stated, working on definitions for workforce and attainable housing. They are part of the MEHOP ordinance that is moving through the city's city council agenda, but it is not adopted yet. Right now, we do have affordable housing in our city's definition, but it is not advised to add workforce if it's not currently in the city's definition, because it could be misconstrued by other municipalities or the county's definitions for that term.
Okay.
May I have a motion for item 8C?
So move.
Second.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
On to, we have the Planning and Zoning Board comments. I guess upcoming Planning and Zoning Board meetings. January 26th has been canceled.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, we have a comment card for public comments, item 10A. Ms. Brown?
Ms. Brown Rivera Beach, apparently, one of the questions was not asked. Will we stay in that time frame for 18 months? Because it is noted in there, they have designated 18 months for this project. That question there was not answered, so I would like to hear a response. Will we be on target in 18 months to have this Charté, these townhomes built within that time frame? Because if not, then it should not be included as 18 months. But if you give that time frame, this is what we as a city look for you to have completed within 18 months. Now, if it's not 18 months, you take that out of there. So I would like that addressed. Also, I would like to also address my deep concern for these employees in this city. From the police department to our city government buildings. Just like we sit here and we move things along here, housing, the health and well-being of every employee as well as residents when we go into these sick buildings. We have sick, molded buildings here in our city, and I'm not ashamed of saying it, because our employees are working through all of this. And if we can move everything else, we need to move our employees to a better living facilities, living quarters. Their health matters. They have children and babies and grandchildren too. And every day, some of them are going home sick, as well as we as residents that go and visit some of these buildings here that have respiratory problems here. We need to move. If we can do bonding for in and everything else in this city here, residents, and I've gotten with you all, thank you for the senior luncheon today, and elsewhere that I've been, all down in Delray and everywhere else. We must take care of our home. This city would not exist without its employees, as well as its residents. But our employees make this city operational, and we should be mindful and skill set and professional people to realize this. Your health matters. Just like water is life, your health matters. And we must, in 2023, set a course here to get these employees out of these sick, molded, rain-out buildings, because climate change is real. Every day, our climate is changing. It's rain. The buildings are mold and infested. So I was delivered that, and I wanted you to know, because residents and employees, we are behind you 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Mr. Sherman, the first question she asked, is there any assurance that within that time period?
Staff can't provide that kind of assurance, but the code does require that construction start within 18 months, or the development order, if approved by City Council, automatically expires. The code does allow provisions for the applicant to request extensions based on certain events that are approvable at the department level. But I will defer to the applicant to talk about their readiness for construction.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Anita Jenkins, Director of Neighborhood Services for the CRA. It is our intent to begin construction within 18 months and definitely to complete construction within the time frame, which is another, 36 months after that. This is a great step, so thank you for your vote of confidence. We'll be moving very swiftly to City Council and into the CRA board. We are already in the process of working on our construction documents. We know that there is a housing crisis not only in our county, but definitely in our city, and we're doing everything we can to move it expeditiously forward as fast as we can, and we look forward to community support. So we make that assurance that, and I will tell you that if there's anything I can do in my power to push, pull, tug, plead, beg to get this project moving, we will do it.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions by the board? All right, moving forward. Since there are no planning and zoning board comments, we discuss our upcoming planning and zoning board meetings.
Oh,
You missed the correspondence. B.
Yes, I did. B, correspondence. Do you have any?
None, Mr. Chair.
Not.
C.
Oh, just a board comment. Just in general, the Jazz on the Beach for our residents was absolutely phenomenal and fabulous. I wish that we had a better and bigger turnout. The trio, I believe, that came put on a great jazz performance on the beach. I understand that we are having more activities come up there of music on the beach. I just want to encourage any of our residents and guests who are looking that Riviera Beach, our city, is one municipality that puts on a lot of free events and activities for our community, and we are not attending them. And pretty soon, if we keep our attendance low, we're simply just not going to have anything served up to us because we're not patronizing the great events and activities that our staff, whether it's the city, whether it's Parks and Recreation, the CRA, that they're putting on. They are just phenomenal. And I am really encouraging our residents to really come out and support the city of Riviera Beach. If you're not supporting what we do free, what makes developers think you're going to support paid events? Let's start with the free events. They're quality, they're magnificent, they're fun, they're family-oriented, and as far as I'm concerned, they're the best around. From Lake Park all the way up to Jupiter, nobody does it like the city of Riviera Beach. Thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
I think one of our main issues that we have with these events that we put on is that the residents doesn't know. A lot of people don't do Facebook, and a lot of people don't drive, so they don't see the signs. We have to do a better, there has to be a better way that the city can communicate to the residents that they're having these activities. It has to be. I don't know if you can send out a flyer once a month or what, but there has to be a better way to let the residents know these events are going on. Now, I get a newsletter through my email. Everybody don't have emails. So we have to figure out a way to let the residents know that these events are going on.
Agreed. I was thinking the same thing about possibly, like you said, stating a flyer or a mailer, but I think that would be, quite expensive. But I was thinking of some ways also, because she was just saying that, Jazz on the Beach, and I didn't hear anything about it myself. And I know I'm quite busy, but I didn't hear anything about it myself, and I definitely wanted to attend something that was here done by the city of Riviera Beach. So hopefully we can come up with some solution to where we can get that out to the residents more, to where we'll be able to attend and get that to where people can appreciate the city more.
And Chair, I have one other question. When we're in this facility here and we are giving our Pledge of Allegiance, and I think everybody kind of turn around this way, that way, looking for the flag. Walter, is there a possibility that we can put a digital flag up, that you can get a JPEG of our United States flag, so that now we know it's up there and we're turning that way? Is that a possibility? And it may not be sometimes, but if we can compensate with a digital, yeah.
It's a great idea.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sherman, I still have issues with the zoning areas. I know that there's things being worked on. Just like I just found that out tonight about the industrial area right down the street here where there are homes. This stuff has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. This is getting ridiculous. And now we're putting in townhomes, and then they're gonna have a boatyard down the street. Come on, when is this city gonna wake up? We cannot have a boatyard right next to where we're putting up high rises. So I hope staff is really thinking about the way they're letting these people just come in here and put stuff up wherever they want it. Thanks.
Mr. Brown? One thing I would like to state also, for the past 5 or 6 months over the Riviera Beach Marina, I had a young lady, a school teacher at Roosevelt Middle School by the name of Marcia Kelly, who came up with a program, an ACT program, ACT boot camp, that I'm a part of. And over at the Riviera Beach Library, the kids are coming in on Saturday morning, spend approximately 4 hours there. They're getting provided breakfast by the city of Riviera Beach, and they're getting provided lunch by the city of Riviera Beach. And we are teaching these kids how to pass the English, the science, and the math portion of the ACT. The problem that we have is that the kids in our community are graduating from high school, but the grades and the scores they're receiving on the test are putting them in a position to where they have to go to either a community college, or they have to go to a college not of their choice, to where they're accepted. But what we're doing now is that from the past couple months, we have kids coming in now who are scoring very high scores on the ACT score, the composite score, and now able to get into D1 colleges. And it's especially beneficial for the athletes, for baseball, basketball, football, soccer, any sport that they attend to. Now they can get into these great colleges, or any colleges. Any education is really good, depending on the kid. But it's a great opportunity for a kid to be able to get into opportunity to maximize their opportunity for an education and opportunity to be seen on a professional level at that point. Any people inside the city of Riviera Beach, the principal at Dwyer Dwyer High School has actually set up a program to where the kids are in Riviera Beach are able to come to the Riviera Beach Library and attend this ACT program free of charge. It's a free program, and they're allowed to go there, and they're going to have all the expertise from myself teaching math, Mr. Sean Allen, and Mrs. Marcia Kelly teaching reading, and amongst other people there that'll be there to help out with that program. This is something that we plan on doing to not only help out the city of Riviera Beach, but the city of West Palm Beach and also Palm Beach Gardens to make, and again, I think the most important thing about, even though these cities are involved, I think the best thing is to get these kids on the right level and be able to have them see that there's something better out there for them instead of just settling for the things that life provides for them, and give them this proper education. So please, if you get opportunity, it's also going to be a second session. The kids can come there now. Don't worry about signing up for it now. Just have the kids there at 8 o'clock at the Riviera Beach Library Saturday, and then we'll get them set up for the test. And then after that, once I think the test is on the 9th, I forgot what Saturday that is in February, I think it's before the Super Bowl, Then right after that, 2 weeks later, we start up again with another program with the ACT program with the kids also for the next test date also. So we're trying to keep these kids busy and get them on the right mindset to where they become nice, productive citizens, hopefully in the city of Riviera Beach. Thank you. And I think that is it.
And Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Couple comments from staff. The next Planning and Zoning Board meeting will be February 9th. We will not be meeting on January 26th. And one follow-up to our last Planning and Zoning Board meeting where we had a workshop on the comprehensive plan. We are in regular communication with our consulting firm regarding that. And we will be kicking off one-on-one meetings with each of you and the consultant team to get your, to give you time to express your thoughts, concerns, visions for the next version of the city's comprehensive plan. We will start scheduling those the first week of February, and you should expect communication from staff soon to set up those meetings. So we expect you all to be fully involved and engaged in this process and really lead the vision that's communicated to this firm beyond what's already been put in that scope. So please look forward to those communications.
Thank you. Breakfast, lunch, snacks with our one-on-ones?
I can't speak to that on the record right now, but we will make sure we create the environment for you to share all of the information and visions you have for the city.
So one other question also, with something as big as what's coming up with the comprehensive plan, is there a way that the residents who are watching and tuning in to hear these great things that are going on with the city of Riviera Beach, is there any way for them to contact the city for any ideas that they may have or any requests that they may have or something that we can ask that they can be put into the city or just any ideas to where they'll be able to give those directly to either us as the members of the council, well, not council, but members of the Planning and Zoning Board, or to be directly in contact with yourself to be able to express these ideas?
Absolutely. We have not started on our meeting sessions yet because we wanted to make sure the public outreach plan was in place before we began this campaign. So right now we're collaborating with the consultant to make sure that their plan for public outreach is fully encompassing all persons and members of our community, and to the points made earlier about the best ways to communicate with the resident, even if whether it's about a city-sponsored entertainment event or the opportunities to provide input to the comprehensive plan. We have to make sure our outreach program affords the opportunity for all types of Riviera Beach citizens to provide that feedback. So that we're working on specifically, and that will range from community meetings to websites and other methods of meeting the community where they are to provide feedback. If you want ways for them to communicate directly with Planning and Zoning Board members, I'm sure we could facilitate that as well. But when you have these one-on-one sessions, we will be providing you with a copy of that public outreach plan. So if you have any edits or comments on that as well, we want to afford that. But we want to have the document in place before we begin our meetings.
Thank you. And also to the public, as stated, our next meeting will be February 9th, 2023. Please attend that meeting if you do have any ideas of what you may want to see in your city for the future of the city of Riviera Beach. Any other questions by council? Any motion?
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.